Hello again from a very warm day in Pretoria. We've had some great rains of late, and it's awesome to see everything turn green and blossom again. In the previous YouTube videos, I've spoken about the importance of praying daily, which is rule number one, and the authority God has given you to exercise in His name, which is rule number two. So in this issue, I'm going to talk to you about the family, which is rule number three. Our presentations are for the real men out there, the real men in the world that are leaders in the faith, that love their families immensely and want to contribute to their children's future in South Africa. I'm going to mention things now that could be upsetting, but I feel it's necessary. It's a fact, it's the truth, and it's also mentioned in the Word. Right, we have to face the reality in South Africa that it is in total mess. And and I'm including myself, are directly to blame for the situation in the country. For 27 years, we've kept quiet. We just did our thing, did our own thing, and we just went on, ignoring all the red lights. However, on a high note, only you, us, can fix this mess, not the politicians. As you know well, they're the false prophets, as we have already mentioned previously. You, me, and whom we associate ourselves with can fix our future. But more detail on that in the next video. Let's look at the family, our families in South Africa today. When we look at leadership, including spiritual leadership, according to the word, lies squarely on the husband's shoulders, not the wives and not the children's, but on the husband's shoulders. The men in the house, the man of the house. There are family matters and problems that are not in alignment with the word. We need to take our present situation with our families serious before there's nothing left to salvage. All right, let's look at the immediate family, starting from the bottom of the family structure, our children. Do our children respect their parents? I see and read that they don't. I see and read that gender-based violence against children is high. We look at the word, Ephesians 6:1, children are to obey their parents, for this is right. They are to honor their fathers and mothers, which is the first commandment. Is this happening today? Well, you make that call. Let's look at our wives, our spouses, our partners, and their roles in the family structures. I see and read that wives are running family units, not the men, not the head of the house. And this is in most cases. I see divorce is rife in South Africa. And what does the word say with the spouses? Wives are to submit to their husbands as to the Lord. Ephesians 5:22. But women aren't supporting their husbands. This is the reality, they're not. Because the head of the home, the man, he's absent. Let's look at the father's role in a family structure. I see and read of fathers not looking after their families, their children. I see and read that men have endless excuses in not being able to carry their responsibilities, whether it be maintenance or otherwise. I see in the maintenance courts, the Pretoria maintenance courts, they're fully occupied with lawyers, taking monies that should be given to the children. Fathers would rather pay lawyers than pay for their children. I see poverty, abuse, standard of living dropping everywhere because the head of the family unit has lost their leadership role which God has bestowed upon him. Look at the word, Ephesians 5:23. For the husband is the head of the wife, as Christ is the head of the church. 1 Timothy 5:8. If anyone does not provide for his relatives, and especially for his immediate family, he has denied the faith and is worse than an unbeliever. Now, to all the men out there, the real men, why are you head of the house? Why? Because You're physically, mentally, and spiritually strong, which God has made you to be like that, to take steer and to ensure survival for the now and the future generations. God has given you authority, but you don't use it, or you don't know how to apply it, or you don't pray enough or connect right with your Maker. Now that's the immediate family. So let's look at the church family. My spiritual mentors are Pastors Angus Buckham, as you well know, Art Boshoff, Derek Prince, and the late Dr. Miles Monroe. In church, we pray and we praise in unity with all our community members. And then outside the church, what do? Absolutely nothing. Nothing happens. We allow the politicians and the leaders in our communities that we see in our churches, our church services, they babble on public platforms, on national TV, saying 1, 2, 3, and we say nothing. What is wrong with us? Why do we not stop this? Where are the hundreds of pastors and preachers in the country in action against government and government officials? Remember, prayer alone, according to the word, is meaningless. We must put action to the prayer, and then we get God's favor. Now we take it a step further. Let's look at the nation family in our working and business environments. There's racism. There's division in schools. There's racism in restaurants, in the banks, in business and in sport. Black Lives Matter, as mentioned before. So, to the real men out there, when is enough is enough? And when are the real men going to correct this? Our families and our communities have collapsed. How much more must be presented to you on various channels and by various presenters before you want to see and accept the reality before you? Okay, so we can leave our future then with these false prophets to remedy what they already by design have destroyed. Definitely not. So let's look at the solution. The solution, again, for the real men out there, I'm talking to you, the God-fearing and believing men. Take charge of your families and their futures by praying daily. Take charge with authority that God has given you. Take responsibility for your family and families. Unite with people whom care about you and your families, people like us. In my case, the Southland Defence Suidlanders is my new family, and I'll tell you why. They care about the present situation in the country. They care and are vocal about the ongoing abuse and suppression of minority groups. They are well-organized professionals. There is a plan for the future which is sustainable and workable for our children and their children. Southland Defence is God-fearing, God-believing, and faith-conscious in what they are doing now and going forward. If you are led by the faith and feel the same way, then join Southland Defence, Suidlanders. It's the only way forward. Southland Defence is for you. For my own children, I have gone public, and I'm calling you also to do the same. Don't wait, don't fear, just do it. Lastly, you're not here to pay bills and or to impress your neighbors with new cars and homes, etc., etc. Let me remind you, you're here for God's kingdom first, and also for your family. Make them all strong again and join. Stay well until we talk again. Cheers.